Today I'm going to introduce you to the world of freshwater fish hopping. Have you ever wanted to create and control your very own ecosystem? My goal is to inform you how to step-by-step establish your very own aquarium and to understand all the factors that come into play when creating and controlling an aquatic ecosystem. I like the concept of having your own ecosystem. I care about proper management of aquariums because I worked with the fish department for 6 years, teaching customers about how to create a safe and sustainable environment for fish. Before you can have a fish tank or fish, you need to have yourself a fish tank. A proper sized fish tank is important. If it's too small, you're going to have multiple factors arise. First off, you're going to get deformation. Fish is going to grow improperly inside your tank. Number two is as the fish grows, it can blast through that glass pretty easily if it's large enough. Number three is aggression. Fish will become territorial if they do not have enough space. Moving on to water, the next thing that you're going to put into your tank. When you put water into your tank, you need to treat it. You can use that using a simple water conditioner, but water from the tap has heavy metals in it, chlorine to be specific, which is used to remove infectious, anything that can create infections or parasites, bacteria, anything unhealthy for you in your water. When you dechlorinate it, it will remove it for you. Next is filtration. You will want to make sure that you're getting proper filtration in your tank. Filters basically keep your water from going stagnant. If the water sits around for too long, naturally your pockets will build up. You'll have your water will get pretty nasty pretty quickly. On top of that, it will basically lose oxygen. Your fish will starve. On top of creating or removing stagnant water, it helps filter out your water as well. As you have fish in your tank, you're going to build up toxic chemicals, ammonia, nitrite, uneaten fish food, fish waste. All that stuff builds up. What happens is that your fish tank is going to remove those impurities from your water. Next up is temperature control. You can basically do this by putting a simple heat stick in your fish tank. These sticks will basically check the temperature of your fish tank every 15 minutes. Will adjust to an appropriate level, usually a pre-programmed level by yourself. Proper fish tank temperature should be around 77 to 82 degrees. Anything higher will boil your fish, anything lower will chill the fish, slow its metabolism, and ultimately kill it. Moving on to decorations. Your tank should have plenty of hiding places for the fish. The more hiding places you have, the safer the fish is going to be. So, if a fish goes into a store from the wild, it is used to being able to have places to hide too. When you introduce hiding places into the tank, it will have a better sense of security. On top of that, it will also create a nice ambiance for your tank. A good-looking tank has good decorations inside of it. Go ahead and splurge because you're going to get out of what you put into your fish tank. Moving on to substrates. Cleaning detritus. In your substrates, as you feed your fish and as they exist in your tank, they're going to poop, they're going to create waste in your water, and it's going to settle into the gravel, the ground, the substrate in the tank. This is called detritus. Commonly, it's uneaten food, fish waste, any kind of impurities floating in the water. On top of that, as far as detritus goes, you'll end up doing maintenance on your water, on your fish tank, and pulling all the fluids out of the water or out of the gravel as you go along. On top of cleaning the detritus out of your substrate is actually going to host bacteria as well. A lot of people don't understand that not all bacteria is bad. There is good bacteria as well. Beneficial bacteria actually is bacteria that grows in your tank. It's living bacteria that metabolizes your fish's waste, which breaks down into ammonia. There's bacteria that will actually grow and metabolize the ammonia created by the waste. All right. Moving on to putting it all together. You'll get all of your tanks. And once you have all of your equipment together, you'll basically take your tank, get your filter, your heat source, your substrates, put it all in there, put your treated water in there. You're going to want to let your tank sit for a little bit. When you set up a brand new fish tank, you're going to want to cycle it. Fish tanks that are fresh out of the store. They've only been sitting for who knows how many hours, 6 maybe. You have no bacteria in there. If you have no bacteria in there, you can't deal with the waste and all of the chemicals that are coming from your fish and fish food. So there are 2 ways you can deal with this. You can either go to the store, get yourself a bottle of pre-packaged bacteria. This will basically jumpstart your tank and get you moving quickly, or you can cycle it the old-fashioned way. Old-fashioned way meaning that you let your tank sit for 2 weeks before you put fish in there. Now that you've had your tank set up, there's some processes you should be aware of. Filtering your water, for instance. We mentioned filters earlier in this lecture, but what's actually inside the filters are 3 different components: carbon filters, biological filters, and mechanical filters. Next slide, please. Okay. Carbon filters will basically pull out any impurities in your water, like ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. Your bacteria will deal with this, but they won't deal with all of it. All those chemicals are toxic, so you want to make sure you have carbon filters in your tank to deal with that. Number 2 is biological filters. These are usually porous stones. They basically host bacteria that will help deal with your ammonia cycle, nitrogen cycle. The last one is mechanical filters. These are basically sponges that will help pull out impurities, things floating in the water. They're just basic sponges. As water passes through them, it collects the big chunks. Carbon filters collect the little chunks, and biological filters deal with any remnants on top of that. Next slide, please. There are many pollutants that will build up inside your tank, one of which is ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. We've mentioned this before. You want to make if you don't deal with those chemicals, your tank is going to go downhill quickly. Left, we see a dirty tank. On the right, we see a tank that's actually fresh and clean, which brings me to manually cleaning your tank. Stick there, please. Thank you. You will basically perform an algae scrape on your tank. Get yourself a little algae pad, reach on in there, and actually, I'm sorry, next slide. Get yourself an algae pad. You'll reach inside the tank, wipe any algae off the wall. You get yourself a gravel vac. Gravel vacs basically are gravity operated. Once you get them going, they'll pull water through the gravel like a vacuum, and basically vacuum your tank row by row. This helps pull up all that detritus that we mentioned earlier. On top of that, when you pull out pollutants from your gravel, as you're pulling water out, this is considered a water change. Water changes are beneficial to your tank in the long run. Basically help keep up the nitrogen cycle henceforth. Now that you know how to maintain your tank, you want to move on to stocking your tank. We're going to go over a couple basic fish families real quick. First of which are the cichlids. Cichlids are aggressive, beautiful fish. They have a pack mentality. There's going to be an alpha cichlid that run the tank. They're very aggressive fish. So when you're doing this, make sure you do only aggressive fish. Basically, only cichlids with it. Moving on to tetras. Tetras are a community-oriented fish. Basically will school together, play nice together, really won't have any issues. It's good fish, good starter fish, good hardy fish. Moving on to gouramis. Gouramis are a semi-aggressive fish. Although beautiful, they can be a little aggressive and should not be kept with community fish. One more oddball fish is the plecostomus. Plecostomus are tiny little black sucker fish that will help clean the tank and basically remove the algae from there. Your fish should be separated. When you buy fish, they are separated into 3 different categories: community, semi-aggressive, and aggressive. Community is basically everybody plays nice together. Semi-aggressive is they're a little touchy with other fish. You want to be careful mixing them with community fish. They can be aggressive. And the last of which are aggressive fish, usually large, obnoxious oscars. Oscars are aggressive. Oscars are piranha are actually a form of oscar. If it's aggressive, don't put it with community fish. You're going to be flushing money down the drain. Now you've learned how to step-by-step establish your very own aquarium and have been exposed to all the different factors that come into play when creating and controlling your aquatic environment. What you're doing is crafting your own ecosystem. You create the space for the bacteria to grow. In order for the bacteria to grow, you must have the fish create the food for them. In order to have the food for the fish, you must feed them fish pellets or grow plants inside the tank, which get their nitrites from the bacteria. It's all connected, and everything in the tank is alive, with millions of bacteria all playing a critical part with each other. Thank you for your time.